before we get into the video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out. And here we go with the 1990 Lexus LS 400. Really one of the, in my opinion, most important cars of the 20th century, certainly the later half. And the car that really cemented Toyota as, you know, a real luxury brand with the introduction of Lexus. This was the very first Lexus. And this was the first production year. So we're just going to kind of walk around the car, talk about some of the unique features and the development and just things that make this car extraordinarily special. Huge shout out to my friend Joe for letting us film his car today. It's really a pleasure to be in the presence of the first year. So as I mentioned, this was kind of the first luxury car for Lexus, or for Toyota. This was their flagship. The first generation ran from 1990 to 1994. This is the UCF-10 chassis. In Japan, it was known as the Celsior. And the second generation ran from 94 to 97. And then Gen 2.5, which is what I own right here, which ran from 98 to 2000. So it's pretty fun to have both of them in the same parking lot here. In 1983 is when the development of this car began, which is pretty amazing that it's like you can use one of these as a regular car, and it's something from the early 80s, really. It started out as the F1, which was like their secret flagship project. It took them 5 years to design and cost them about $1 billion. I'm doing the Dr. Evil Pinky thing. $1 billion. Which, when I first heard about that, seemed like a huge amount of money, and it certainly is. It's not actually the most expensive car that was ever developed, but it certainly wasn't the cheapest. And Toyota really, I mean, they just threw money at this car. They threw engineers and more engineers and more engineers. And prototype after prototype, which is why the car, all these years later, is still, you know, so reliable and, you know, can be a daily driver. This car, of course, had the 1UZ FE, which was a 4-liter V8, 32 valves, produces 250 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. It weighs 3,858 pounds, and that engine is mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission. When the engineers at Toyota set out to design this car, they were looking for a quiet cabin, good aerodynamics, a high top speed, fuel efficiency, and of course, luxury. It took them 60 designers, 1,400 engineers in 24 teams, 2,300 technicians, 200 support workers, and all of those guys worked together to build 450 prototypes of working cars and 900 engine prototypes. So they wanted to make sure that they got it, and they got it right. In producing the car, they logged 1.7 million test miles on their prototypes, and they drove them everywhere from Arizona, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and various places in the U.S., wilderness locations, you name it. They just wanted to make sure that this car was going to do everything in any possible condition or climate. This car had a drag coefficient of 0.29. And then another thing, now the low drag coefficient really helps with the gas mileage and also with interior cabin noise. So if the car cuts through the air more easily, it makes less noise while you're in the cabin, so you don't have to do as much sound deadening. Of course, they did a lot of sound deadening, but you get what I'm saying. I know that in version 2.5, my car over there, they introduced dual pane windows, and I can't remember if the first gen had that, but it probably did. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, and then also a lot of differences between the two cars. In 1987, they settled on a design and filed patents. And then in 1989, the car was officially debuted. I think that was in January, actually. Yeah, it was January 1989, and it was announced as the 1990 model year. So I meant to check the tag to see like when this particular car was built to see if it's an 89 or 90. By September 1st, they went on sale in 89. It was one of the first cars to kind of offer a lot of luxury standard features like a automatic tilt, telescoping wheel, auto up-down windows, a airbag, which in 1990 was still not that common. Also power shoulder belts, which is a feature I often forget about with my car. It's nice that they're there, I just don't use them that often. Auto dimming rear view mirror, and various other interior things that are very nice. The car had a base price of $35,000, which priced it well below of some of its German competitors, particularly like the BMW 7 Series, the Mercedes S-Class, Jaguar, and this car was really coming for them. You know, they kind of wanted to offer something that could outperform all of those other cars and do it for cheaper. There was one little hiccup with the design. Like the first 8,000 cars were recalled, and it was over just kind of some faulty wiring and a overheating brake lamp. And Lexus got all 8,000 cars serviced within like 20 days. And I heard stories that like they even came to people's houses, and they just wanted to make sure that they got that done super fast. And they wanted to really cement their reputation for a quality brand. One of the things I really like about this car, that I like better than my car, is the front end. I actually like the front and the rear better than the version 2.5. You know, if you look at my car, I mean, it's pretty, but I like this better. It's so cool. It's so kind of 90s cool. And we'll just kind of take another walk around here. Just enjoy all the... I love how there's kind of the L for the Lexus built into the window. My car has that too. I know Ford tends to do that a lot with their cars. They'll put the oval kind of everywhere. That was a big thing around this time as well. I also love the dual exhaust that are noticeable. Mine has dual exhaust, but you can't really see the pipes. I love the little chrome tips on this one. I think it's just super cool. We're gonna go take a look under the hood as well. Is it okay if I pop the hood?
Yeah.
Same spot as mine. Oh man, that's beautiful.
That's before they added the plastic
Yeah.
beauty cover.
It's cool that you can kind of see everything.
Right.
I love the valve cover, 4-cam 32.
Right. That's like classic Toyota.
That was
That on the head.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then of course the new master cylinder, which mine has too. They seem to all fail.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Really nice, tidy engine here. Fantastic. And I believe like my engine and this engine both share the thing that Scotty Kilmer bagged on. And I don't know if you saw that, Joe, but he complained. He said, don't buy one because the starter is expensive to replace. And it is expensive to replace. But it's like, you know, hopefully you get an OEM starter.
Right.
And it's $900 and
Sure,
you don't do it again, you know?
How much does it cost on any other car?
You know, $300 to $500,
Okay.
depending.
But I mean, the stuff that's not gonna break
Yeah,
on this car,
exactly.
makes up.
Yeah, I mean, how many cars from 1990 are still on the road?
Right.
You know.
Hardly ever see any that aren't like a Camry.
Yeah,
Or one of these.
Yeah, it's exactly. They're all Toyotas or Hondas. Man, what a lovely engine, and very high tech for the day, like very, very high tech. Oh, that is lovely. Oh man, your hood supports work really well.
Yeah, they're new.
I don't know if I shut that hard enough.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's good.
I just don't want to slam other people's. So now we'll take a peek inside if that's okay, Joe.
Sure thing.
We'll start over here. Nice beefy door. Suspension seat, I love it. And do the gauges work?
They do.
Yeah, could I
Of course.
just kind of show that? This was a really big deal, and really nice that Lexus kept this going. The holographic kind of appearance. That's so cool. And no drama as the 1UZ fires to life. Nice boosted power steering. Really pretty cool. Showing 220,000 miles, but that stopped working, right?
Yeah.
It's like probably one of the only things on this car that doesn't work anymore. Really, a lot of this is exactly like my car. Some stuff is a little different. These controls changed a bit. And this had kind of the classic 80s, you know, straight back shifter, which I kind of like. Mine has the gate. But really nice original wood. Oh, that's cool. The ashtray kind of works a little differently than my car. And I have the dual glove boxes.
Oh, okay.
Or, you know, CD changer and then glove box.
Here you only get, you know,
There.
basic glove box.
There you go.
Maybe a cubic foot of storage in there.
It's good enough.
Yep.
You know, nice center console cup holders here. Sure enough. That is so cool. Slightly different design than the later years. But same idea. That's fantastic. Looks like we've got an aftermarket head unit, just like mine. So auto down driver window, it looks like. And everything over here is very similar. I guess you could turn the remote off, which is kind of neat. Got your power mirrors, and of course the fuel and trunk doors, and you can actually lock the trunk from inside the car, which is a really nice feature, especially if you have kind of valuables. You can give the valet your valet key, and then they can't get into the trunk, which is nice. So here we are at the back seat. Again, really good shape considering this is 32 years old as we're filming this in 2022. Armrest, nice leather everywhere. It's just got a terrific old luxury car smell. Wish you could smell the car. And that's one of my favorite things. Looks like you got a little power outlet down there, as well as the rear vents for the rear passengers. Really a lot of modern features on this car that at the time were luxurious and now in 2022 are just kind of expected. Like you'll get all of this stuff on just a Honda Civic. But back in the 90s, it was like power windows was a big deal. Power locks were a big deal. Does this have dual zone climate?
I'm sorry?
Dual zone climate control or single zone?
I think that might have been in the UCF 11.
The next gen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, this had climate control. You know, you could set the temperature and it would maintain it exactly. And,
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff that you just kind of take for granted nowadays. But back when this car was new, that was all, you know, very luxurious. That was one thing that Doug DeMuro talked about when he reviewed these cars, was just kind of talking about how they were luxurious back when they were new, and now it's just kind of a nice car with leather seats, you know. But I mean, I kind of disagree because the driving experience and just the isolation that you get when you're in these cars, it really does make them something special. And you know, even if they don't have all the tech. So anyway, we're gonna get behind the wheel in a minute and